Good morning, children. Welcome to the online classes for the sixth period of 10th standard. So, in the last class, we have started the new topic related to the extension of British rule in India. In that, in the last class, we have studied the point related to the first Anglo-Maratha War and the end of the Anglo-Maratha War. Then again, after the end of the Anglo-Maratha War, one of the person who came from the British towards India by the name Lord Wellesley. So that also we have studied in the yesterday's class. Now in the today's class, we are going to study the topic related to the Second Anglo-Maratha War. So you know that the policies made by the Lord Wellesley, there are three kinds of policies followed by the Lord Wellesley to get control over the India. So according to those policies, the new system was started in the East India Company with the aim of control toward the Indian kings. So that policy was started and the war we are going to see, that is the second Anglo-Maratha war was started in the year of 1803 and end with the 1805. So this we are going to see that this war was went for the 2 years. This war was went for the 2 years among the Marathas and the British. So actually the Marathas were fighting for the post of Peshwa since from the death of the Madhavrao we have seen in the last class. Now till when we are going to see, we have reached toward the points of 1803 to the 1805. In this position also, we are finding the people belongs to the Maratha Federation. They were again getting fighting for the post of the Peshwa. So there were the chieftains, many chieftains we are going to see in the Maratha Federation, and these chieftains families were fighting each other for the purpose of post of Maratha. And you know that always British was finding the opportunity. What? The British was finding the opportunity to get war with the Marathas because this was the only powerful area where they were unable to get control or occupy the land under their control. So to get under their control, they are finding the opportunity. So once in the 1803, we are finding the opportunity came to the Britishers. So how this opportunity was came toward the British to make a second war with the Marathas. So now come to the point, the main reasons for the point of second Anglo-Maratha war started in the 1803. So the first point is there was the differences among the Marathas chieftains was the main reason for the war. So already I told the main reason was the war in between, the conflict in between the Maratha chieftains itself, Maratha Federation itself for the post of Peshwa. And the second reason was there was the enmity started it between the two families. One family was the between Yashwant Rao Holkar family and a Daulat Rao Scindia family. These are the two families belongs to the Maratha Federation itself. But these two Maratha families were getting fight each other for the post of getting control over the Peshwa post. That time, what happened? There was the enmity started in between the Yashwant Rao and the Daulat Rao. But next point, we are going to see both Yashwant Rao and the Daulat Rao. They want to wanted to establish the control over the Peshwa of Balaji Rao II. So that time, at the period of 1803, Balaji Rao II was the Peshwa for the Maratha kingdom. Now, these two people, Yashwant Rao and the Scindia or the Daulat Rao, they want to get control over the Baji Rao II and they want to become the Peshwa for the Maratha kingdom. What happened that time? In 1802, before the start of war, we are going to see in 1802, the army of the Holkar family, means Yashwant Rao's family, the army of the Holkar family defeated the Scindia family, means Daulat Rao's family. So the conflict was started and this Yashwant Rao's family has defeated to the Scindia family and to the Peshwa. So after getting the defeat by the Scindia and the Peshwa, now Peshwa was getting fear from the Yashwant Rao and he was thought that he has to take the help of British because he may be going to lose the Peshwa post. Who? This Balaji Rao II, because already Yashwant Rao's army has defeated to the Scindia family and the Peshwa family. Now the Yashwant Rao's family was becoming very powerful due to this fear. Due to this fear, there, so the Peshwa appealed to the British to help him. Appeal toward the British to help him. So you know that time the Governor General for the East India Company, you know that, who was made three policies. That is, Lord Wellesley was waiting for this opportunity. And after getting an opportunity, when this Peshwa has appealed to the British, now finally the Lord Wellesley got an opportunity to meddle with the affairs of the Marathas, to interfere with the Marathas, to interfere in between the families of Marathas, to get the disturbance between the families of Marathas. That opportunity was got by the Lord Wellesley after the appeal of the Peshwa. So, by this way, now the point came to be get war with the Marathas. So, that time this Peshwa has entered the policy made by the Lord Wellesley. You know that what is the policy made by the Lord Wellesley? That is subsidiary alliance. Subsidiary alliance. So this subsidiary alliance policy was made only for the making of attack toward the Indian kings indirectly. So indirectly this Peshwa came under the control of British now due to the signing of this subsidiary alliance system. Now this Peshwa entered to the subsidiary alliance and accepted the Treaty of Besson. So he has signed the Treaty of Besson. Who signed this? The Peshwa Balaji Rao II has signed the Treaty of Besson. That time, you know, the other families which are belongs to the Marathas like Holkar, Gwalior and Bhosle formed an alliance opposing this treaty. Now see, one side this Peshwa was taking the support of British and the another side all the families belongs to the Maratha Federation which get combined. Alliance means getting group or getting merged to each other. So all other Maratha families become one and Peshwa went toward the British. And they have started to oppose the treaty signed by the Peshwa Balaji Rao II. Now, The war was started in between the British and the Maratha families because these Maratha families are giving trouble to the Balaji Rao II. So that time Lord Wellesley defeated the armies of various Maratha families. So one by one, to the Yeshwantrao, to the Scindia, to the Gwalior families, one by one, the British army started to get attacked toward the Maratha families. This Lord Wellesley has defeated to the all families belongs to the Maratha kingdom, and there was the war started in the year 1803 and end with the 1805. It means it run for the 2 years. Now, but his battle was become very thirstiness. His battle was become very thirstiness because so many times he was only finding the opportunity to make the attack, but he was not thinking toward the financial condition of the British administration. That time, this thirstiness increases the financial burden to the East India Company. Due to the attacks by the British toward the many families of Maratha Federation, the financially it become burden to the Lord Wellesley on being this position, on being criticized for this policy. Lord Wellesley resigned for the post of Governor General for the East India Company in the 1805. You know that Lord Wellesley came in the 1798, and after 7 years he has resigned for the post of the Governor General for India. But you know that in these 7 years he has made lot of changes. He has not seen toward the financial condition of the East India Company, but he made lot of attack toward the Indian land under the control of British. So on so it was reason for the post of this, and he went toward the England. So this resulted again peace in the region of the Indian land or the Maratha kingdom or the Mysore kingdom. So again we are going to see there was the peaceful development was started in between the Maratha federations of the Maratha families due to the resigning of the post and returning toward the England by the Lord Wellesley. So this we are going to study in the topic related to the Second Anglo-Maratha War. So the next topic is Third Anglo-Maratha War. So we have seen that in the Second Anglo-Maratha War also the Maratha kingdom has came to be lose their power, but they did not have went totally under the control of British. But Peshwa has went under the control of British East India Company now. But other remaining Maratha Federation families were free from the British. Still they have not surrendered. But after the returning of the Lord Wellesley in 1817, so it means from 1805 to 1817, there was the silent in between the Marathas and the British. From 5 to 17, it means for the 12 years, there was no disturbance due to the return of Lord Wellesley toward the England. But again we are going to see there was the opportunity found by the British East India Company to again ruthless or again make attack toward the Maratha kingdom. That time in 1817 we are going to see the Governor General for India was Warren Hastings. So Warren Hastings was ruling in India that time. So that time one war we are going to see with the Marathas and the British, that under the Governor General of Warren Hastings. So, the war was begin with the 1817 and end with the 1 year, that in the 1818. It is not for the long period. But why again the third Anglo-Maratha war was came or come to the point in between the Marathas and the Britishers. The main reason for this war was, we know that already there was a disturbance between the families belongs to the Maratha Federation. That earlier the Maratha families tried their best to protect their independence and the honors in between the period of 1805 to the 1817. But there was disturbance arises. But second point, the Peshwa who was under the control of British, he was also started to get out from the British control. So even the Peshwa attempted to free himself from the clutches of the East India Company or the British Company. He tried many times to come out from the control of British because already he has agreed the Treaty of Britain and he has signed the subsidiary alliance. Now, but for getting out from the British, the Peshwa attacked the British residency in Pune and he started to burn it down. So once he went toward the residency of the British Governor General or the British officers and made attack in the Pune and burnt it down. That was the main reason become or the British become angry to make war with the Marathas. Now, the Peshwa who was under the control of British itself was burned the residency of British East India Company. That time, other people belongs to the Maratha Federation also fighting in India. These people were fighting in India. So, who are the people? The Appa Sahib of Nagpur and the Mallara Holkar were rebelled against the British. They are also making opposition toward the British. Who? This Appa Sahib who belongs to the Nagpur area and the Mallara Holkar family. Both of them are making opposition. They have get a rebelled against the British, and but by making opposition toward the British, these people have suppressed ruthlessly. They were suppressed by the British government. They were pushed by the British government very strongly. So that time, due to the reason of this Peshwa itself only, the rise of Maratha British war was started in the 1817 in the India. So finally, what happened? The Peshwa who belongs to the Maratha kingdom by the name Balaji Rao II fought against the British at the two places by the name Koregaon and the Asti, and later he was surrendered toward the East India Company. He tried to make the war with the British at the places of the Koregaon, at the places of the Asti, but he was unable to defeat the British. He surrendered toward the East India Company, and the British, after knowing this Peshwa policies, it has abolished the Peshwa post from the Maratha kingdom. Now the British has abolished the Peshwa post and granted a pension to the Balaji Rao II. It has started to give the pension as like you know that already we have studied in the last topic. Mir Jafar's son also getting the pension from the East India Company. In the same way, now the post of Peshwa went under the control of British. Now this Balaji Rao II was getting a pension from the British East India Company. Now they installed the Pratap Simha. Now they have installed the Pratap Simha as the descendant of the Shivaji. He was belongs to the Shivaji's families. So as the ruler for the Satara and a misrule state, under means it was under the control of British, but it was started to rule by the Shivaji. So one of the post was given to the person belongs to the Shivaji's family by the name itself, that is Shivaji, and it was belongs to the Pratap Singha. You know the Pratap God. Many times we are going to see the names of the forts. So this was started and named him as the traditional leader for the Maratha and suppressed the Maratha resistance. So by this way, British government or the East India Company has suppressed the Maratha resistance, and some places were given belongs to the Shivaji's family's persons, and they have started the traditional leadership. How was the small kingdom, or how the people are ruling as a small area. Like that way, one of the area was given to the this Shivaji's family. By this way, totally the control over the Maratha kingdom was made by the East Indian Company with the end of the Third Anglo-Maratha War in 1818. That we are going to see in the history of India. Next point is the consolidation of the British power. Now, you know that after getting the control over the Maratha kingdom toward the south side, now British has found that they are totally becoming powerful to get control toward the Indian lands. And the British completed that agenda, ruling the entire India from the 1818 to the 1857. Now they have planned that we are only the people who are ruling, who can rule for India for a long period, and they have made the plan that from 1818 to the 1857. No, you know that in 1857 one of the war held with the British again by the our Indians. So there was a lot of gap. We are going to see that agenda was completed, that plan was completed by the British after getting occupation toward the Maratha kingdom. They occupied the major states like Sindh, Awadh, and many other smaller states of India. By this way, they totally got a control over toward the Indian land. So, the next topic is Anglo-Sikh wars. So, earlier we have seen the Anglo-Maratha wars. So, in the same period, we are finding in the western part of India or the northwestern part of India, the Punjab area was ruling by the Sikh king by the name Ranjit Singh. So, this Ranjit Singh was ruling in this area, but unfortunately, there was a problem arises in the Sikh family or the Sikh kingdom that become the main reason for the Anglo-Sikh war. Why this unfortunate reason arises in the this Sikh area? The main reason was a political anarchy broke out. A political anarchy broke out in Punjab after the death of the King Ranjit Singh. Now Ranjit Singh was died in the this 1839 period, and due to this there was a political anarchy. It means for the post of the king there was a fighting started in between the people belongs to the Sikh religion. That we are going to see in the 1839. In 1839, this Ranjit Singh was died, and due to the death of the Ranjit Singh, there was a political anarchy started. Anarchy means there was a conflict started in between these people. So that time, you know that always British was finding an opportunity to make attack toward the Indian kings. Uh, he was, it was waiting for that opportunity. That time, after the death of this Ranjit Singh, now British attempted to invade the Punjab by violating the treaty of friendship they had with the Easterwile kings. Now that time, British has planned, so there may be the weakness in the Punjab area. We have to follow the friendship system. We have to get the relations with the many people belongs to the Sikh religion, Muslim religion or the Hindu religion, and we have to be go toward the Punjab side and make the attacks. So different friendship relations were started by the British East India Company to get attack toward the Punjab. Finally, in December 1845, a war was broke out between the British and the Punjab. So after making the plan by the British East India Company, it has suddenly made attack toward the Punjab in the year of 1845. So when the attack was made by the British East India Company, the families belongs to the Sikhs, the families belong to the Hindus, the families belongs to the Muslims were became made an alliance. They came one together to fight with the British now. So there we are finding sensing the danger from an outside force. Sensing the danger from the outside force means, so one of the outside force who is entering toward the Punjab, it may be going to give the trouble to us. So all the families belongs to the Hindus, Sikhs and Muslims become together and they have started to fight with the British. They want to get the defeat toward the British. That movement was started in the Punjab. Finally, they had to be accept who the families belong to the different religion. Finally, they had to be accept the defeat due to the few traitor leaders, because some leaders belongs to the Sikh family, some leaders belongs to the Hindus family, some leaders belongs to the Muslims families were connected to the East India Company. That was the political system even we are finding in that present day also. So due to these traitors, they have got problem and they have accepted the defeat from the East India Company or the British Company, and they signed a humiliating Lahore Agreement in the 1846. In which year? 1846, there was an agreement we are going to see in between the Punjab people and the British East India Company. That agreement is going to called as the Lahore Agreement. So students, this is coming for the 1 marks. In which year the Lahore Agreement was signed between the British and the Punjab people? There we have to give the answer for the 1846. Now, by this way, the Punjab also came under the control of British. With the British residents, they become the de facto ruler for the Punjab. Now, even the British has become powerful to get the occupation toward the East India Company, Punjab, and this Punjab become under the control of the rule of East India Company. By this way, like this way, we know that Punjab become the defendant states of East India Company. Now, Punjab also, after the agreement made with the 1846, that also came under the control of British. And due to this, the Sikhs who belongs to this area have started to make Many times they have made the attempt towards the opposition toward the British to do not rule directly by the East India Company or the British. The opposition were led by the Sikhs, people by the name Chattar Singh Attarwala. He was the leader for this opposition party. He was started the movement in the Lahore area and the Mularaja in the Multan area. These are the two people who have started to make opposition toward the British. Again, the, the people belongs to the Punjab were defeated. Even the leader followed the opposition toward the British. Finally, you know the Lord Dalhousie, who was the Governor General at the period of the Anglo-Sikh War. So many times I told that the different types of Governor Generals are coming in the different wars. So in the last war, in the third Anglo-Maratha war, we have seen the Warren Hastings wars came. But at the period of Anglo-Maratha wars, we are going to see the next person who came to the power as the Governor General for India was Lord Dalhousie. That this Lord Dalhousie merged the state of Punjab with the British Kingdom or the British Empire. By this way, the Punjab or the Sikhs were came under the control of British. So, the last point of this chapter, we are going to discuss a new person who arrived after the Lord Wellesley or the Warren Hastings as the Governor General for India was, that is Dalhousie. And this Dalhousie has made a different policy. You know, the earlier Lord Wellesley has made a subsidiary alliance and he was successful to make control toward the Maratha kingdom or many powerful kingdoms in the southern part of India. So the next person, Dalhousie, who came to India, he started to develop a new policy by the name Doctrine of Lapse Policy. He was developed the new policy, that is Doctrine of Lapse Policy. The main aim of this Dalhousie was when the Dalhousie who arrived toward the India as the Governor General in 1848 made an attempt to integrate the Indian princely state under the control of British Empire. The actual aim of this person was all the integrated princely states belongs to the Indian kings has to be taken under the control of British Empire. That was the main aim of the because so many princely states were under the small kings. Those he want to take under the control of British East India Company. That time a new policy was developed by him, that is Doctrine of Lapse Policy. So he adopted a Doctrine of Lapse Policy whereby the adopted children of Indian kings where by the adopted children belongs to the Indian kings were refused of their right to throne to make rule on the this area. So, what do you mean by the doctrine of lapse? So, actually this policy was brought to lose the kingship of Indian kings who didn't have their own child. Who are adopting the children, they are refused to rule over for that area. And it was taking under the control of British because already the British government has becoming powerful. So that time, according to this policy, according to the doctrine of lapse, we are going to see if any Indian king died childless, without a child, his adopted children had no power. His adopted children had no legal right over the throne to rule over for that kingdom. You can take the example of Kittur Rani Channamma. She didn't have the child. She has taken the adopted children. But after the death of the Kittur Rani Channamma, this adopted child is not going to get the power to rule for her area. This policy was brought by this Dalhousie as the doctrine of lapse policy. Children, now you got the idea what is the meaning of doctrine of lapse policy. It means the adopted children were not finding the power to rule for their fathers. So, such a state merged with the British. After some time, many states were merged with the British who didn't have the childrens, their own children. The princely states like Satara, Nagpur, Sambalpur, Udaipur, Jhansi, Jaipur came under the control of British with this doctrine of lapse policy. So, by this way, now we know that the political power was developed by the British. So, these states have used this policy as the political weapon by the British East India Company. With the severe implementation, of these policies, not only the princely families, even the ordinary people, even the local kings, ordinary leaders, people who were sympathetic to these kings rebelled against the company. So now the kings were getting worried. So everything they are going to lose after their death due to the non availability of their own children. So that's why the people belongs to the particular area and the kings belongs to the small kingdoms. Both of them started to get opposed toward the policy made by the Dalhousie, that is the doctrine of lapse policy, and they have rebelled against the British company. Their love for their kings and the sense of loyalty, the love of their kings means the people belongs to the that kingdom. Their love for their kings and the sense of loyalty failed this rebellion further. This finally resulted that in the Sepoy Mutiny of 1857, the Sepoy Mutiny of 1857, this everything become the collapse, and British East India Company has continued his power to rule toward the Indian princely states. So by this way, we got an idea. The British has gotten a full power to get control over the India up to the 1857. Then again we are going to see there was the conflicts coming after the 1857 till up to the independence, that we are going to learn in the different units. So this chapter is going to be complete after the point completion of doctrine of lapse policy developed by the Dalhousie. So children, on page number 15 we are going to see the point given in the quotation, know this. So once you read about the king Ranjit Singh, detail write the points related to the Ranjit Singh, because it is also one of the important topic related to the point of examination, the view of examination. Once you read, write the points related to the Ranjit Singh in your rough notebook. That is your homework. Thank you.